This video is sponsored by Sunflex UK. I set up my own architecture practice in the UK back in 2009, and I've been designing and building private homes ever since. The vast majority of my clients hired a building contractor to carry out work, but every year I get at least one client asking about the possibility of self-building their project. Now, I should start by saying I'm not absolutely against self-building, but it only works for a small group of people. I have 3 reasons why you should not self-build your home, and the third reason has a suggestion for how you could make it work for you, so watch to the end for that. I've recently seen a lot of posts on Instagram and TikTok from people in the UK self-building their projects. Some are house extensions, others are new build homes, but the same issues come up every time, and that's why I decided to make this video. So let's get into the 3 reasons why you should not self-build your home or extension. If you have self-built your own project, let me know in the comments if you agree with any of my reasons. Number 1. Opportunity cost. What do I mean by that? Well, most of us have to earn a living by going to work every day. For some self-builders, their project has been a lifelong dream, but most people who choose to self-build are doing it to save money. And if you are saving money by building the project yourself, you are then losing money by giving up your job to spend time on a building site. This begs the question, how much money will you actually save by self-building? Materials cost the same no matter who buys them. The bricks, concrete, plasterboard and insulation don't come with a self-builder's discount. There is a saving on the labour cost, but that depends on whose labour you are replacing. If you happen to be a time-served and qualified tradesperson like a joiner or brickie, you can replace someone costing around £300 per day. If you have never set foot on a building site before, I'm afraid the only person you are replacing is an unskilled labourer, and they cost between £80 and £100 per day. So ask yourself, do you earn less than these people in your day job? And if the answer is no, if you earn more than a skilled tradesperson, then it doesn't make sense for you to give up your job to work on a building site. The loss of income from your job will outweigh any savings you make by self-building. But what if you work at evenings and weekends to get the best of both worlds? You still earn an income from your job, and you then save by building the project in your spare time. To get an idea how long that might take, let's look at a recent project of mine. This 3-storey property in Edinburgh was taken apart and the layout changed. Fully rewired, replumbed, re-roofed, and this new extension added to the back. The client hired a building contractor who had half a dozen guys on staff to carry out the work, but shortly after they began, the contractor had to close his company. I won't go into the details of why that happened other than to say it wasn't the contractor's fault. And after he entered voluntary liquidation, he then started a new firm and finished the job for my client. The problem was that he no longer had the cash flow to employ as many staff as before. He went from 6 guys to just 1 working with him full time. The project was originally supposed to last 8 months, but with just the contractor and 1 guy on site, it took 15 months to finish this job. If you are thinking of self-building your own project, that's the kind of timescale you need to plan for. And keep in mind, these were experienced builders, which brings me to the next point. Number 2, you cannot do this alone. This is not an entry-level job. If you are going to self-build your home project, you will need trained, qualified and experienced people to help you. At the very least, any work involving electrics and gas must be certified by qualified people, and the rules require the electrician or plumber to personally be present on site. It's not impossible to certify this afterwards, but it costs a lot more, and if they find pipes or wires that don't meet the requirements, they have to be ripped out and done again. Then there's the resale value of your home. Now bear with me on this one. If you build an extension to an existing house, the worst that can happen is your shoddy workmanship looks awful and might put off a prospective buyer. But as long as you get a completion certificate from the local council when the work is finished, you should be able to mortgage the property because the house was there before you built the extension. But if you self-build a new house, using your own savings to pay for everything, you might face a problem later on. Even with a completion certificate from the local council, any home less than 10 years old needs additional certificates or warranties before a bank will lend a mortgage on that property. I made a video about the challenges of financing a self-built home in the UK. You can check out the link in the description, but the short version goes like this. If you want to sell your self-built home or mortgage it to release equity, no bank will touch it unless it comes with a CML certificate or NHBC warranty. To get these, you need to know what you are doing because the house will be inspected at regular intervals during construction. If you make a mistake with the drains, foundations, insulation, roof, stairs, or any other component, those have to be taken out and redone. And even professionals get this wrong. On 2 of my recent jobs, the contractors made major mistakes that had to be rectified. One firm built an extension too short. The back wall had to be taken down and rebuilt further into the garden. Another firm poured a concrete slab too thick. This meant we couldn't fit as much insulation into the floor as we needed, and that took a lot of effort to fix, but we got there in the end. Both firms had offices with project managers and experienced foremen on site. Even well-run building contractors get things wrong, but on the flip side, bigger building firms have the financial resources to correct their mistakes. So if a client wants me to design a project for them to self-build, I'm going to make it as simple as possible. If a client has looked at my other work and likes the idea of cantilever roofs, zinc or timber cladding, cut stone walls, large openings and exposed structural roof beams, they might be disappointed because there is no way an amateur can build this stuff. Materials and features like these are best left to the professionals, which is why I work with the sponsor of today's video. Sunflex UK design and manufacture high-quality aluminium windows and doors in the UK. Sunflex do not sell direct to homeowners. Instead, they have a network of approved installers who coordinate with builders and architects to ensure your doors fit right the first time. Check out this video I made about Sunflex bifold doors. I discuss all the technical details and the costs of this installation. There's a link up here and also in the description. The final reason why you should not attempt to self-build your home is health and safety. Don't worry, I haven't gone all nanny state. I'm not talking about risk assessments here. I'm talking about the most dangerous thing a person can do on a building site, and that is to be there on their own. I have chewed out tradespeople for doing this. Being alone on a site can turn a non-life-threatening injury into a fatal one very quickly. If you trip and fall, break a bone, get badly cut, electrocuted or collapse from fumes, what happens if you can't call for help? Your phone is broken, out of reach or has no reception down in a basement, and if there is nobody to help you, then blood loss, hypothermia and shock can set in quickly. I'm not trying to be alarmist, but if you ask anyone who has worked on building sites, they will tell you horror stories. Construction is a dangerous business, which is why I recommend any self-builder should hire someone to work with them. Ideally a joiner or brickie, perhaps someone who is semi-retired. There are a lot of guys out there, and having an experienced person alongside you will help solve the first 2 problems which I mentioned earlier. The work will get finished sooner, and an experienced tradesperson will help you avoid pitfalls. They will also have a network of contacts who can help with things like drains, plumbing, electrics, structural alterations and roofing. They might even know how to read drawings better than you. So what have we learned? If you are retired or independently wealthy, have lots of time in your hands, are experienced in construction, and have a wide network of trade contacts, self-build might be for you. If you're wondering about self-building or just hiring a contractor for your project, but you want to know where to start, you can book a consultation with me on the reallifearchitect.co.uk website. I can advise on the best layout for your home, planning pitfalls to avoid, building regulation issues to consider, and how to find the ideal architect for your self-build. If you have a site in mind for your project, either a plot of land or a building you want to convert, contact me before you buy the property, and please read the terms and conditions before you book the consultation. If you want to see examples of the kind of projects I advise on, I make videos about some of them. Check out the playlist up here. My name is Neil and I am a real-life architect in the UK. I regularly make videos about the reality of altering private homes, building new houses, and issues affecting the construction industry and architecture profession. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you want to keep up to date, hit subscribe.